Hi, everybody. I'm Coach Michelle Quirk. I'm a pediatrician and a run coach and the founder of Mindful Marathon, where I help make running easy and fun for busy professionals. And welcome to another episode of Mindful Marathon Conversations. Today, I have a very special guest with me. I have Dr. Dolapo Babalola, aka Dr. Babs, here. She is a board certified family physician practicing both clinical and academic medicine. And she is also the founder of her holistic wellness company called Living at Their Finest, where she serves as a wellness strategist. And she is awesome. So, welcome to the show, Dr. Babs.
Thank you so much for having me. I am truly honored to be in your platform. I've learned so much from you, and I'm excited to add some value and connect with your listeners and viewers.
Yeah, and the feeling is mutual. I've learned so much from you, and I love your podcast.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about your mission with Living at Your Finest.
Yes, it's all about us living at our finest. Yeah, so my mission is to help communities of color to live at their finest holistic health. That's what I say, by being empowered to nourish their bodies, their minds, their spirits, so that they can flourish as a whole, vibrant, and healthy champion. The reason why I focus on communities of color is because, again, with COVID, as we can see that chronic diseases are so rampant, 4 in 10 will have one chronic disease. Four out of that 10 will have two or more. And so that is the number is astonishing, and just really trying to combat the disease pathology and tailor it towards lifestyle prevention, preventative care. So that's why my mission is tailored towards communities of color. And when you know better, you do better. And I do this by applying just the principles of lifestyle medicine and obesity medicine in a fun, fundamental, and a faith-based framework through a couple of my resources, coaching programs, YouTube, as well as podcasts. So that's what I'm all about. I'm truly passionate about it, and I'm glad to be able to share some of that with you today and your listeners.
Yeah, and I love how you break down these topics, right? Because they can be very complicated. And if you think about it all together, it can be a little bit overwhelming. Like, yes, we all are trying to strive to live a healthier lifestyle, but what does that really mean? And how can we make small changes in each of these areas? And I love how you break down these topics, especially on your podcast and on YouTube to really help your clients and your patients. It's great.
Yeah, yeah, it's all about making it fun, fundamental, and faith-based because we get overwhelmed. I know I get overwhelmed. You get to this paralysis, you have too much overload, and you're like, you know what, forget this. I'm not even doing anything. And as you know, there's just so much, exercise in the morning, exercise in the evening, when it's best, when it's not best. The same thing applies for food. So how can we make it simple, just basic stuff so that we get it done? Small wins, small steps that become bigger, wins, and our health begins to feel it. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Really trying to make it simple and applicable for all lives and ages.
Yeah. Now we were talking a little bit at the beginning here, but what do you find as the most common hurdles when it comes to exercise? I'm sure you get that question a lot.
Oh
Like what
yeah.
that people tell you, what are their hurdles? I'm sure my runners have similar ones.
Yes. So the most common one is just time, time management. We're all busy, doing, if we're not running after our own jobs, our kids, our families, just a lot to do. And so how do we carve out that time? So before I got my experience with lifestyle medicine and obesity medicine, I used to think that it all has to be scheduled 1 hour, 2 hour, all at the same time. But I've learned science shows that if you can just even if it's not just that 30 minutes that the American Heart Association recommends, 30 minutes, 5 days a week, just to start at the minimum, right? Because we know that you can do more. But if you just start at the minimum and start where you're at, if 30 minutes, you can't do all 30 minutes at one time, do 10 minutes here and there, adds up, it accumulates, right? So
Mhm.
time is the biggest hurdle. And I just have to sit down with my patients, with my clients, and navigate where we can fit the time. But that's for scheduled exercise. And we also have to have conversations about being active on a regular basis. So it's not just the scheduled exercise, which we call NEAT, right?
Mhm.
NEAT, which is the non exercise activity. fidgeting, walking, playing, dancing, all those things. If I can tell you a secret, if you haven't already heard about me, I do not like shopping. But the moment I heard that shopping and walking up and down adds to my calorie burns, I was like, okay, let's do this. Just put on some earphones and it's all added up. So, studies show that you could exercise 1 hour, but if the rest of the day you just sat down doing nothing, it doesn't give you any benefit, mentally, emotionally, in every aspect of your life. So it really does add up. So that's how I have those conversations with clients and patients about how to make it possible with the limited time that they have.
Yeah, I was just thinking to myself, I find that I park very far away in parking lots. So it forces me to walk even at work, park
Yeah,
park in the furthest end of the parking lot. So you have a little further of a walk, and then always take the stairs. And unless you're going up, a really tall building, but
yeah,
try to
absolutely.
always opt for the stairs. All of that adds up.
It all adds up. Absolutely correct.
Yeah, now besides time, do you have one more obstacle you want to share, and
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
overcome it?
Oh, yeah, there's tons of them. So other obstacles, it's just really weather. I know. Oh my goodness, it's so funny because, you know, I used to be that way. I mean, I enjoy exercise, and I really do, but there are obstacles where, okay, it's cold, I can't go out and do my usual walk, and then it's too hot, I sweat too much. I played those ones too. But knowing your why you doing it, right? Exercise, and I guess people prefer to hear it more of movement, right? Because exercise tends to make people scared, because of the the idea of exercise scares people. So if I would call it movement, right, or
Yeah.
fitness, so understanding that you can create it around the weather and have your backup plan. So for instance, yesterday I was able to go for a 4 mile walk. I knew the weather was going to be slightly cold. I had all my sweater, I pulled it out, I had it ready, my gloves, whatever it was I needed, I had it ready. Now, if I decided that, well, it was just too cold, I couldn't do it, then there's several resources, YouTube, where you can do walk, within the house, stairs up and down. So that's another huddle. Don't let weather be, your obstacle. If it's sunny, you don't want to go outside to, maybe just wear something lighter, and so that you can get stay hydrated, wear something lighter that will help. Allergy, I do have really bad allergies. So during the spring, I just make sure, for me, I take Georgia honey because I'm in Georgia. That helps. And sometimes I might take Claritin. So really being prepared. They say failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So if we already have all those backup systems, and what is your alternative, what else can you do, it'll take away that huddle, because your why is strong. You want to be healthy, you want to be fit, and you want to go the long haul in good health.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I may have to try that honey.
Yeah, yeah, honey
I
does
have
help.
bad
Georgia,
allergies.
yeah, that helps, because I mean, I'm a mess when I go out for a walk or a run during the spring. I tend to wait. That was the old me. I would wait for the weather to change, and that's about 2 months before I start going out again. So I found ways to enable me be healthy and still enjoy the weather.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Right.
In terms of one other one I thought of, that my runners struggle with sometimes is just plain motivation. Like
Yeah.
they're going strong, like things are going pretty well for a few weeks, but then there inevitably is a slump at some point where you lose motivation. And sometimes, like right now, it is weather, and
Oh
with the
yeah.
time change, and it's getting dark very early if you're used to running in the afternoon or the
Yeah.
evening. And so I don't know, motivation is a big one,
Oh yeah.
and navigating around that.
That definitely motivation is, I mean, I've had my moments where I just don't feel like it, but I find that when I actually start playing my music before I actually start, it
Mhm.
motivates me. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So we all have something that would trigger us to us doing what we need to do. We just need to figure what that is. For me, it's music. Once I can
Wow.
get good music started, and I don't
Mhm.
wait to when I actually start my first step. I start the
Yeah.
music early. So, my favorite music, my favorite song, I motivate myself. So yeah, just really making sure whether, for some people it might be a quote, maybe
Mm.
an affirmation, something that triggers you because well, just like you said on my podcast, you never regret going out for a walk or a run. You never say, "Oh, I wish I did not do that. I should have just
Right.
stayed in bed." It's never something. So knowing that your buddy's going to thank you for it, and also having a schedule. Not that I'm saying, and this is for the scheduled exercise, right? All the time we do need to be up and about, and if you have a desk job, maybe every hour just have an alarm if you have that and get
Mhm.
up, stretch, do something, but not just sitting down because we know that data shows that all cause mortality increases the longer you sit. So 6 hours or more. So when I talk about scheduling exercise, I'm talking about that 1 hour that you're scheduling. It's different from the regular activity that you do. So just making sure that you have it down, because if you don't put it down, if you don't prepare for it, it's not going to happen. And then just pay attention to what those triggers are going to be, or the obstacles, so that you can navigate against them.
Yeah, no, I love that. And with my scheduled runs
Yeah.
or whatever it is, cycling, yoga, I'm a morning runner generally. So I just set my clothes out the night before because believe me, like I'm not a morning person and I love sleep. And when the alarm goes off, I'm like, oh. But if I am opening my eyes and I see the clothes right there, I pretty much just have to fall out of bed and put
Yeah.
them on. And once I am in the act for me of tying my sneakers, I'm okay.
Yes, yes. I like how you said that, that when the alarm clock goes off, you're like, oh my gosh. For me, what I actually tell myself, is it Monday or Tuesday? Because those are the days that so if it's a Wednesday or Thursday when I'm going to work, I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't have to go out. But at the end of the day, we really need to pay attention to the why. What is the benefit of doing this? It's moving. It's just helping our heart rate. This is Diabetes Awareness Month. It's shown that the more that we move, we exercise, we do those fitness, it actually helps with our sugar regulation. It helps with insulin resistance. So there's lots of benefit. Not to even talk about cognition, right?
Yeah.
Dementia is decreased. So there's tons of benefit. You might not see it right there and then, but it accumulates, and the endorphin rush. There's all that. I mean, yesterday after my 4 miles, I would kid you not, I was in the best mood. I called my brother-in-law. It was his birthday, and I left him. He was like, "What happened to you?" I was like, "It must be the endorphins. I'm really excited to speak to you today." So it really I just encourage all of us that we should just make it a lifestyle. There are moments, yes, but give ourselves grace. Just like you said, preparing for your virtual
Yeah.
run, right? You said, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. So, even if it's just 5 minutes here and there, do something. It's not all or none. I used to be that
Yeah.
on and non. I'm
Me
like, if
too.
I can't get 1 hour, forget it. I'm not doing anything. But no,
Mhm.
it's any little movement counts. So that's what I really encourage all of us to stay in the game and keep
Yeah.
pressing on.
Any little movement counts. Oh, I
Yes.
love it. It's a great quote.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your tips with us. I know everyone will get a lot out of this. Tell everybody where we can find you, and I know you have some great courses coming up.
Yes, yeah, thank you for the opportunity to share. So yeah, I am on livingatyourfinest.com, and same thing on all social media handles, Living at Your Finest with Dr. Babs. I do have a freebie for your viewers, and
Thank you.
it's just tips on how to live at your finest. Finest stands for something. F is fitness, I is interaction, meaningful interactions, right? N is nourishing nutrition, E is enrichment. So when I talk about enrichment, how do we create those healthy habits, decrease risky behaviors? How do we develop our personal development? So all of that, spirit, mind, and body. S, like you alluded to, sleep. Sleep is so essential. If you just don't have a good night rest, you're not going to be able to perform your best, whether it's walking, even running, whatever it is that day. And a long time ago, I heard that if you have an hour and they tell you select between sleeping or exercise, you should actually sleep. So sleep is also one of them, and I elaborate more in the freebie. And then the T is take care of you. You have to take time to care for yourself. You cannot fill out of an empty cup. So yeah, so more of that in the freebie. And I do have a course coming up. This is the holiday season. Stress is out there. It's a good time to mellow with everyone, but can also be stressful. So it's a online mini course in stress. I also have one in sleep, and I have one on just natural remedies. How can we live naturally where we're not relying solely on pharmaceuticals, because it has its place in acute, but long term they interact with each other and cause a lot of other issues. So yeah, so those are my courses that are coming up in a few weeks. I'll post those on my website.
All right, that's great. And I'll leave the link to your website and for the freebie here below too. So I'll be
Okay,
sharing them, okay?
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. And thanks everyone for listening and for joining us. And we'll talk to you soon.